Mazuma TV, what's going on, y'all? Shout out to Mazuma Nation. Shout out to the Mazuma Mob. We in the building as always, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive day. On my way to go get it as always, man. I hope y'all doing the same. It's a beautiful day out in Philadelphia, man. Can't complain at all. What I want to talk about is Canelo Alvarez. If y'all guys been living under a rock, it just ain't been checking in with the sport of boxing. Canelo Alvarez just came off of a victory against Jermell Charlo over the weekend and completely dominated, man. I thought he won every single round in all honesty. Jermell was pretty much there for the check, man. We established that pretty clearly. Was in survival mode. Didn't really want to get hit by Canelo Alvarez. I think he felt the power. He felt the size disadvantage that he was up against. So I guess he played it smart and just tried to the best of his ability to not get knocked out. He had gotten dropped. He had gotten up. And a lot of times when he was initiating his offense, it was really to keep Canelo off him. You know what I'm saying? Or his attempt to keep Canelo off him. But regardless, after the fight, they had interviewed Canelo. And he was extremely emotional, man. You could tell that besides him being an emotional dude, he does cry. You know what I mean? He's cried in a few of his fights, especially the Triple G one and all that other stuff. But you can tell he really listens to the media and what the people are saying. You know what I'm saying? He's not one of them dudes that be like, oh, I don't check the internet. I don't really check social media. I don't watch videos, which is, I always thought that was like one of boxers' biggest lies. You know what I'm saying? Right along with, oh, this is the best training camp I ever had, and I make the weight easy, or shit like that. There's a few lies that boxers put out there and stuff like that, and I think that's one of them. But I honestly believe that Canelo, a lot of stuff doesn't get past Canelo, and I think he's been hearing the whole speculation that he's on the decline. I was one of the people who said so, and he trained hard. He trained hard to reverse that theory that's going around. You know what I'm saying? And it was a better performance in comparison to the Triple G fight, the John Ryder fight. It was a better performance. You could tell that he was more focused. You could tell that his punches were faster. You could tell it was more output. You know what I mean? Even looked better on his feet. You know what I'm saying? It was light on his toes at certain instances throughout the fight. So it was overall a better performance. However, he was going out and saying that this version of Canelo cannot be beat. You know what I'm saying? That's really what I want to get into, because in all honesty, I think that a lot of people are rocking with that notion is like, oh, can't nobody beat Canelo at 168. That Canelo can't nobody really beat. And it's like, bro, y'all serious? I really don't understand. You know what I mean? Like, Canelo looked good. You know, he looked better in his previous fights than his previous fights. I must say, I got to keep it honest, but he's not beatable at the weight class because of that performance that he put on. Let's just say that Canelo looked that good, not because of Canelo, but it was the lack of what Jermell Charlo was doing. Charlo didn't provide any resistance throughout the fight, so we really don't know how good Canelo really is and exactly where he's at. Even Canelo said it. He was like, Jermell didn't really do anything to win. You know what I'm saying? And it's true. So if we going off of Canelo's logic, then how do we necessarily know that Canelo isn't on the decline? You know what I'm saying? We don't really know. And then on top of that, it's like Canelo didn't really do anything special. This is typical Canelo. Walk to you with the high guard, put the pressure on you. Once he gets you towards the ropes, he rips his hooks to the body and the head. He likes to throw that right hook upstairs. He flicks the jab out, rips the right hook up top, shoots the left hook to the body, and he resets and does it over and over and over again. You know what I mean? And that's beatable. That's beatable. That's extremely simple. You know what I'm saying? It's just that Jermell refused to make the adjustments necessary to win. Or he just wasn't able to. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not that level of a fighter. You know what I mean? Jermell been struggling against small 54-pounders like Castano. It was pretty much written on the wall what was going to happen between him and Canelo. Canelo is a different type of specimen to go against in comparison to Castano. He's way more of a bigger threat. He's more seasoned. It was just a bad stylistic matchup. But who's to say that he would do that against somebody like David Benavidez? You know what I'm saying? Who has the size, who has the hand speed, who has the power, who also puts pressure, who also has a good jab that Canelo struggles with. You know what I'm saying? Who has the height, You know what I'm saying? Like, he's been against tall dudes like Chavez Jr. and stuff like that. Triple G was taller than him. A lot of dudes, Danny Jacobs, a lot of these dudes were taller than Canelo. Don't get that wrong, but how is that this style that Canelo has been using lately? How is that going to go against somebody like David Benavidez, who has a serious high output, great conditioning, aggressive? And it's not like he idolizes Canelo or anything like that. He low-key does not like Canelo. You know what I'm saying? He wants to overthrow Canelo. He's hungry. You know what I'm saying? He's not going around talking about, oh, you know, I used to idolize Canelo, you know, because he's the most popular guy in boxing. Like, you ain't never going to hear that shit out of David Benavidez's mouth. He's been coming out on several occasions calling Canelo a pussy. ¿Por qué tú tienes miedo? On Instagram, saying, like, why you scared on Instagram and shit like that. So it's a totally different scenario. And will he be able to get that style off against somebody like David Benavidez? I don't know, because in all honesty, I feel like that'll play in David Benavidez's favor. If David Benavidez doesn't have to look for you, bro, then he's going to be able to implement his style a lot better. You know what I mean? And it's just a matter of time. I honestly don't believe that Canelo could keep up with David Benavidez's output. He's going to have to really box a perfect fight and utilize some type of movement at times to avoid the punishment that David Benavidez is dishing out, unless he just sparks him off of the rip. But we've seen that he hasn't been able to knock out certain guys. Like, he didn't knock out John Ryder. He didn't knock out an old Triple G. Like, what's the chance of him knocking out a young, fresh David Benavidez who doesn't really get hit? You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't have the most technical defense where he's slipping shots and rolling underneath shots and slipping, pivoting around. But he has his own little system where he doesn't really get hit clean. Like, when have you really ever seen David Benavidez get busted up? You know what I'm saying? So that's things that we really got to take into consideration. So to wrap things up, man, Canelo's extremely confident right now after this performance. He says this version of him, nobody will beat. I tend to disagree with that, man. I think that David Benavidez has a sure shot, man. Y'all can call me biased, call me whatever y'all want, because that's one of my favorite fighters. But I think from a stylistic standpoint, I think David Benavidez has the best chance of beating Canelo out of everybody at super middleweight. I think Demetrius Andrade has a shot as well. Benavidez still has to get through Andrade. But regardless, man, I do think that he is beatable. I don't think he's unbeatable. It was a great performance, but like I said, I think it was more of what Jermell didn't do in comparison to what Canelo did. You know what I mean? I wasn't too impressed with what Canelo had going on. I was really disappointed in what Jermell refused to do, and that was bring the fight and actually come in there to win. But that's just my take on the whole situation, man. Do you think Canelo is unbeatable at 168? Was he on a different level that night? Y'all let me know what y'all think about this situation overall. This is Mazuma TV. Shout out to Mazuma Nation and the Mazuma Mob. I'll be back on live later, man. On the road to 1K. Hit the subscribe. Hit the bell notification. You know what I'm saying? Share the video. Like the video. Let's keep them algorithms on the up. You know what I'm saying? I'm out of here, man. Peace.